The White House isn't just a building that is immortalized on the $20 bill. It's also a political landmark that houses the first family. Let's take a look at the expensive features of the White House. Seeing as how the White House is one of the most important buildings in the world, it is important that there are security measures in place to keep everyone inside alive and well. Emphasis on alive. That's why it can cost $1.4 billion per year to run the White House, and one of the largest of those expenses is security. The White House has 147 windows, which are lined up with a second layer of ballistic glass that goes for $100 for a single square foot. With the average window being 21 square feet, and most of the White House ones being big and ornate, it's safe to say this can get pricey quickly. Doing some quick math, we can confidently say that the bulletproof window expense would begin at $308,000 on the low end, and given how large and intricate the windows are, it's safe to assume that the expense is more than $1 million. When it comes to national security, there are more secrets to keep from our enemies than hormonal teenagers keep from their parents. One of the craziest rumors we have heard includes several doomsday bunkers that are more than 1,000 feet underground, and one of them was rumored to have been built in 2010 when a $376 million project was underway to supposedly upgrade the electrical wiring and AC units. It is said the secret 2010 bunker can house the entire White House staff indefinitely. Making it onto the grass of the White House would require a lifetime supply of dumb luck. You'd have to be dumb to try, and hopefully lucky enough that a squirrel triggered a sensor at the same time as you. To attempt this would not be recommended, since the fence alone is pressure activated and alerts security whenever anyone or anything puts pressure on it. The White House sits on 18 acres and the building is 55,000 square feet, which would make it very expensive to cover with regular fencing. The cost of your average civilian iron fence is $36 per linear foot, and to cover the 3,500 feet of fencing that the White House has would cost $126,000. That's without the pressure sensitivity, and it also wouldn't stand 13 feet tall. If your dumb luck got you through the fence, or if you're a toddler small enough to squeeze through, there are infrared sensors that cover every inch of the outside. While a civilian could buy an infrared sensor for about $30 online, something tells us that this security technology is more advanced than we can get our hands on. The areas surrounding the White House are strict no-fly zones. If you are caught flying too close, you are granted one warning, and if adjustments are not made, you will be taken out courtesy of surface-to-air missiles. The location of these missiles is kept a secret for obvious reasons, but we do know they are scattered around the city to protect the White House from all angles. Military technology is not cheap. Just look at our military budget. And depending on the type of missile being fired off, it can cost $500,000 or upwards of hundreds of millions of dollars. The Secret Service has to be one of the most intimidating security teams that you'll hopefully never come across, right? Seeing as how there are 1,200 agents working at any given time, and always 24/7, 365, there isn't much, if anything, that is going to get by them. There are even 2,800 additional agents that don't wear a uniform and operate in plain sight. The average salary for the Secret Service agents at the GS-13 level can range from $75,000 per year to $100,000 per year. That means their salary alone can cost almost $400 million, and that doesn't include any training or travel expenses. An additional, lethal, and adorable security measure are the Belgian Malinois dogs that roam the grounds. Ooh, look at that cute little flesh-tearing machine. These canines can reach up to 30 miles per hour and go through 20 weeks of training before working the field, so you can expect the same level of discipline out of them as you do the human Secret Service agents. This terrifyingly smart dog can range from anywhere between $6,500 and $8,500. When you are one of the most important people on the entire planet, it's important to keep a good work-life balance with some leisurely activities. Otherwise, you'll have all the color in your hair dissipate from your head, like President Obama and President Bush. The job could also be extremely stressful, and I shouldn't scrutinize the appearance of our presidents. Moving on! In June of 1933, the indoor pool built for President Franklin D. Roosevelt opened. While the pool is now covered, it was state-of-the-art for the time and featured underwater lighting, sterilizers, and the latest gadgets. Roosevelt reportedly swam in it almost daily, as it was his preferred form of exercise. A modern-day indoor pool costs $95,000 on average to build. In 1933, with state-of-the-art 1933 technology, we estimate that this pool would have cost between $10,000 and $15,000 to build, since the pool would have had to have been dug out as well. President Ford added an outdoor pool with a secret tunnel leading to it in 1975, since Roosevelt's pool is no longer functional. President Obama had the tennis court adapted for full-court basketball with painted lines and removable basketball hoops. While painting the lines of the court might not be that expensive, we gather that 2 removable basketball hoops come in at about $50,000. The hoops are portable, so the court can be both the original tennis court and the basketball court depending on which sport the president and their guests feel like partaking in. Among many other personal additions are First Lady Trump's tennis pavilion, First Lady Wilson's rose garden in 1913, President Eisenhower's putting green in 1954, and President Clinton's music room in 1996. Being the most important person in the world does come with its perks. We are just waiting for a millennial to win the presidency and upgrade the Oval Office to the world's most expensive streaming setup. I'm sure our national defense team will have something to say about unauthorized live streams inside the White House, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. The White House has seen many updates through its lifetime, but 4 dates are seen as the most significant since the dates 1792, 1817, 1902, and 1952 are embedded in the floor of the entrance hall. A building that was erected in the 1800s and was even lit on fire during the War of 1812 has obviously undergone many renovations. Some were geared more towards structural integrity, others heightened security, and given the 46 different personalities that have resided in the Oval Office, some of them were more for pleasure and leisure than anything else. The original construction cost for the White House was $232,372, which would equate to almost $5.5 million today. According to Zillow, if one were inclined to make a cash offer for the White House and skip earning the occupancy via a presidential election, then one would have to bring $469,514,300 as of July 28, 2022. All of this to say that the first date that is embedded on the floor signifies the beginning of the construction of this now remarkable building. The next date on the floor is 1817, which signifies the completed rebuild from the fire that occurred during the War of 1812. The fire damaged the north side of the building the most, requiring a full rebuild of the structure, while the east and west walls were badly damaged and needed replacing. It is estimated that this partial rebuild cost more than $300,000, which would equate to about $7 million today. The third date that is embedded on the floor is 1902, which signifies a remodeling helmed by Theodore Roosevelt. This is when a portion of the building, now known as the West Wing, was added. Offices and residential spaces were also relocated during this time. The president's office moved from the second floor to the newly constructed West Wing. The estimated cost for this project was $467,000, which would be $16 million today. The renovation of 1952 has been famously dubbed the Truman Reconstruction. This project added a lot of the aspects that we know and love about the White House today. The complete overhaul cost $5.5 million, or $61 million by today's standards. Truman stated in his diary that he could have done the project himself in half the time and for half the money. In 2017, there was a $3.4 million renovation that included a new HVAC system, upgrades to the building's IT systems, and repairs to the south portico steps. For those who are keeping track, which is hopefully most of us, there have been 46 presidents of the United States. All of them, except for our very first president, George Washington, have lived inside this little, insignificant, and overall non-historical landmark that most of you probably haven't heard of. All jokes aside, the location and design for the White House was selected and approved by George Washington, but by the time the building was hospitable, he had completed his term and John Adams was the first president to occupy the monumental building despite the fact that construction was still unfinished. Since then, every president has called the White House their home. Except for you, George Washington. Sorry, bud. Using our best of the best, the daily expenses can become quite hefty, but it's worth it to keep the White House safe, secure, and fun for employees and guests alike.